What's happening, crypto crew? Sean's coming back at you with another cryptocurrency video. So what are we talking about today? What are we looking at? We're looking at, is it a good time to get into altcoins? When you're looking at your overall portfolio, should you be diversified 50-50 into Bitcoin, 100% into Bitcoin, 100% into alts? The simple answer is, what's your risk tolerance? And we'll show you why we say that. We're going to take a look at a few charts, take a deep dive today, and also leave you with some Bitcoin news. Before we get to any of that, make sure you guys go ahead and check us out at Bitcoin Bros on Patreon. If you want more exclusive content, one-on-one with the Bitcoin Bros, you can find us at patreon.com/Bitcoin Bros. Taking a look at the total crypto market capitalization, we went over this in our recent video, and we were saying where Bitcoin could be going after the halving. We gave you a range from 9.5 trillion to 11.6 trillion as far as the overall crypto market capitalization. Well, where could the altcoins go? And we're looking at the total crypto market capitalization, just the altcoin. So we're excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. Ethereum is an altcoin, but we just wanted to do the more micro caps, numbers 3 to 100. But right now, at the current time of this recording, the total market cap for all alts is about $351 billion. And as you see, what we're looking at right now, we just got a short call back in November of 2022. Since that call, if we zoom into the price action, have we had that big of a retracement? I mean, we've had about 27 to 28% retracement, and we came back up, hit our heads on the bottom of this EMAs, and try to wake back up again, but are getting rejected. So with that, will we see lower price action, and is the bottom in? Probably, most likely. If you look in the bear market of 2019, you see that we actually came down, made a double bottom, and we were near this 40 level. And right now, that's sort of where we are right now, near that 40 level. So the overall altcoin market capitalization could definitely increase. If we look at the extensions from the bottom of this, which is around the $285 billion threshold, and pull this up to the peak, which is roughly around $1.137 trillion. Just a technical target, you're looking at a $1.661 trillion market capitalization, and it could have an overshot, but anywhere from there to the $3.882 trillion market capitalization. So as you see, this is over a 10x overall for the alt market. Now let's take a look at some altcoin and Bitcoin comparatives to see what we see. Firstly, taking a look at Litecoin, Bitcoin. Litecoin, for those that don't know, Litecoin is sort of the little brother of Bitcoin. Back in 2015-16, when Litecoin came on the scene, Litecoin was considered the silver to Bitcoin's gold. But let's look at the comparative and see what we see. So looking at this here, you see that we have somewhat of a downward expanding wedge. And what has Litecoin been doing? It's just been hitting its head, using support, resistance, resistance, resistance. And then we came down and started to hit our head on this new trend line. We actually wicked above it, flipped potential resistance to support. Now we have to wait and see what it does. Will we fall through this and come back down to this, or will we come back up to this upside? Either way, we'll see that there's either going to be a loss against Bitcoin, which is a potentially 86% loss, or a gain against Bitcoin, which is particularly a 159% gain. Now, nobody knows, but what you're seeing right here, if we zoom into this price action, we can see that there is a lot of confluence around this level right here. Came up and flipped from resistance to support now. We bounced twice. Are we going to double bottom out of this and then have that blast up to the upside? There's a lot of confluence here around this level, around the 0.005 level. So where we're at right now, if we just come back up to that level, that will definitely be a major increase, about 43% to the upside. But we're not out the woods yet because we're still in 2023. The bull market's not really going to ramp up until after the halving of 2024. But it's all dependent on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin moves to the upside, then we could see some faster price action, more faster than what we anticipate. Looking at the super guppy, what do we see? We see on the 5-day, we flipped from red to green, but we're still in this gray area and still below the EMAs as far as the candles go. That's on the 5-day. On the 3-day, same thing. On the daily, we're in the red. We're getting back above those EMAs. Looking on the higher time frames, on the monthly we are in the red. So could we see some more meltdown for Ethereum? Are we just going to be trading in this channel? And if you see, we've hit this upper bound 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different occasions, and we only touched this lower bound 3 times. So will we come back down and retest this? And would this be the optimal entry if we wanted to get in here and ride this to the upside? Because one thing to note, if this does break this trend line, we do fall through here, this would be an optimal entry. As you see, you could easily get a major gain appreciation against Bitcoin. Will we get that opportunity? Time will tell. Another altcoin Bitcoin comparative, VeChain versus Bitcoin. Now just looking at this chart on the monthly, you can see that there's a pretty steady pattern that we see. Fall, blast up, fall, blast up, fall, blast up, fall. When's the blast up going to happen and how far we fall? Just looking at support levels, we can see that this comparative actually did use this line as support, support, support. We actually fell through this, retested it, and now are having a retracement. Now, is this going to come back down and fall even farther? If we do, how far more into the floor can we go? Can we go another 50% against Bitcoin? Is looking at the RSI below, are we just making a N shape coming up and then coming back down before this being the optimal buying entry to get back in and ride this wave up? And then when we come back up, will we come back up and use this and had this technical target up to this support, flip to now resistance? So this is something to definitely pay attention to and be mindful of. Taking a look at the most important comparative, Ethereum and Bitcoin, and what do we see? This is on the monthly. Ethereum has hit this upper bound once, twice, and various times all throughout this area. If we zoom into this price action, you see that we're just somewhat in a symmetrical wedge pattern, and we just come up and we're getting squeezed, and we're having this upward support level as well. So this has to make a decision whether it's going to break to the upside or downside and potentially come back and retest this lower support level. This is going to be made by September of this year. If Ethereum has a major blast off to the upside, you can definitely bet your bottom dollar that we will see an alt season then. But once again, zooming out on the price action, you see that this could get a little weird. We haven't came all the way down to this 30 level before. We could be coming down, putting in a low, putting in a lower high, and then putting in potentially a lower low, then a lower high, and then potentially bottoming out and just bleeding against Bitcoin over time. So is that what's in the cards for Ethereum? Taking a look at the Super Guppy to see what we see. This is on the monthly where we are in the green. Taking a look on the weekly, what do we see? We are in the green, but look what just happened on the weekly. If you zoom into this price action, we just flipped to the downside potentially. We've been in the green and now we're stuck below the EMAs, and if this flips red, we could see this breakdown and see a potential major melt against Bitcoin. 32% is where that macro support is. So right now, we don't think it's the best time to be in the altcoin market. You have to wait, be patient, wait till after the halving. There will be a time when there's better entries. And right now, there's not enough confluence and certainty that the alts are going to rally. And then we have an update from Gary Gensler. Let's hear what Gary has to say about securities in the crypto space.
Can you comment at all on the dispute with Coinbase about rules on crypto, and why doesn't the SEC want to publish rules for that market?
Because, Tom, the rules have already been published. And to make it quite direct, this is a field that has been operating largely non-compliant. Our agency has put out rules about what it is to be an exchange, what it means to be a broker-dealer, what it means to be an advisor or custody assets, and how to register a securities offering. Those rules are in existence, and there's nothing about a new technology that makes it non-consistent with the public policies that Congress has laid out.
So there you have it from Gary Gensler, and we got a comment from Max KEISER, and what he's saying is Gary's right. Everything not Bitcoin is a security, including Ethereum and XRP. Now, he didn't come out and say this directly, but if you read between the lines, he's sort of hinting towards that. We already put this into law in El Salvador. We're a Bitcoin country, and we're thriving. And he invited Gary to come and see how things are going down in Bitcoin country. Shout out to Max. And then we'll leave you with this from the Bitcoin therapist. The next cycle is going to be the cycle that the normal person is priced out of Bitcoin, stack hard and stack often. So definitely like and retweet this, but this puts things in perspective because Bitcoin is going to be that hardened money. And altcoins, in reality, you can use them to flip into more Bitcoin if the altcoin performs better than Bitcoin to get more Bitcoin. You can use the alt market to get more Bitcoin potentially if the trade goes in your favor. But you gotta be careful and you gotta time the market right. Just one rule of thumb in the crypto space, and just never forget this. Just continue to stack sats. With that, that's all I have for you today. I'm Sean with the Bitcoin Bros. If you guys like this content, go ahead and smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and show us some love. We appreciate the support. With that, that's all I have for you today, and I'm out.